Hey, there we
Yo,
go.
what is up? What is up?
What's going on? What's going on? Been a long time since we've done this.
Yep, yep, it has, man. It's like quite a while, almost probably a full year.
Oh, most definitely. Over a year. Over a
Yeah,
year. Definitely a year and a half since our last commentary track. I know that much
that's true. The
for
Exorcism
sure.
one, I believe, was the
Mhm.
last one.
Yep.
And what's up, though? I hope everybody's shaking off those 420 hangovers
Yes.
at
Yes.
this point.
The bloopers are probably dropping here in the next few minutes while we're recording this up. So hopefully everybody had a good Easter. Everybody had a good 420. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the special and all the other shit that came out over the weekend. If you had some 3D glasses, um,
Mine are out in the living room.
yeah, I got mine right there. I don't feel like reaching up there to get them, but they're there. Um, yeah, lots of
You
good
can,
stuff. I had a good Easter and a good 420.
I did as well, and I wanted to say to the listeners, if you don't have any 3D glasses, they're very cheap on Amazon, actually. So if you do want to peep the 3D specials because they are pretty dope, they are pretty rad. You can just pop right on Amazon, type in 3D glasses.
Boom, you get
You'll
some
find
sick pairs like this too.
some sick Oakleys, as
And
I
for
like
my
to call
my glasses wearing people out there, I learned the trick is to do 3D first, sight second,
them.
and then the
Oh,
sight over the 3D, and it really enhanced. As I was watching the Easter Sunday 3D, I finally put these over the top. I'm like, oh, this looks so much better than I thought it did. I
I
was
might
like,
have
this
to
is
try
crystal
that.
clear.
Learning things. Look at us. We're learning things over
We're
here.
learning things. We're learning things. But yeah, let's learn some stuff about Easter Sunday 420. The
Easter.
commentary track, and a little bit of an Easter egg hunt too,
It's
if you
true.
think about it. We peppered in a lot of little Easter eggs in this one.
We did.
Um,
We'll tell you them all right here, right now.
I the prologue going into this is I will say I feel like of all the projects we've ever done, I had the worst attitude going into this one. I just feel like we'd been trying to make that second Easter Sunday happen for so long,
True.
and coming off a year of more structured projects, going back into the whirlwind run and gun world of Chase and Shep, it was a bit overwhelming at first. Um, but ultimately, I feel like every time a plan fell apart, it worked in our favor. I feel like it was
I
a
agree.
better special for it. Because this final product, as is often the case with us, was almost very different.
Yeah.
But a few cancellations later, push something back here, push something back there, come up with an idea on this day. A lot of collaboration on this one. Lots of ideas from different spaces and places and people, and uh, we ended up with this. Well,
People down to switch it up too. Do like 4 or 5 different takes on one
yeah,
scene and just give us a bunch of different stuff. So Chase had a lot to play with.
it's true. Yeah, some of that you get to see in the blooper reel of some of those alternate takes of things and some of the jokes that didn't make it in and whatnot. But ultimately, yeah, I went in with a bad attitude, but came out having a blast, man. This was one of the most fun times I've ever had making anything. I think part of that is due to like our whole cast and crew on this one was like really just like the core knit group of people. We had a few new faces in there, like Rob and
Yeah.
Rodney and whatnot, but for the most part, it was the usual suspects, and it ended up making it a lot of fun. I feel like, especially in those scenes at the dealer's house at the beginning, you can tell that Phil and I were like, we're just trying to make each other laugh, like.
Right.
But yeah, man, it was a blast, blasty blast. Finally, glad we finally got the second Easter Sunday done.
It's nice. It's nice to do a sequel to something and a little follow-up-y like that. 420 seems to be the only, projects that
Consistent.
that we decide, like, "Hey, let's do a sequel to that."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been our
S
most consistent running thing since the start because this is our fifth year. For those keeping track, this is 5-year celebration going down this year.
True, true.
Um, but yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can think of other than all that stuff that hit the cutting room floor probably would have gotten us pretty close to our first feature length Chase and Shep.
True.
deal for sure. I think if we had a whole subplot with the mayor of the city in there, and I think if that and the detective and all that shit was still in there, like, oh yeah, we'd definitely be pushing the hour mark, or if not a little longer,
Yeah,
if
yeah. It
we
would have been deep.
didn't have to cut things, but we did. But we still ended up with this monster of a holiday special, our
Yeah.
largest project to date. We've been hard at it for a couple months now. So yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get
Let's get
into it.
into it.
The following program is intended for mature audiences only.
Right off
Viewer
the bat,
discretion is
we
advised.
go old school.
Old school.
The following program is also intended for entertainment
Old school.
purposes
Bring
only.
back the
Therefore,
disclaimers.
all music was used with forgiveness, not permission.
We were gonna try to
Whenever the show
do
is released for
all
profit,
original
all
music,
music will be replaced with
and
original content.
that didn't last long, you know.
Like the intro. We said, no, we got to do
No,
Peter Cottontail.
yeah. The one that did it in for me was earlier or a little later when we do the "Fly Like an Eagle."
Yeah.
Oh, oh, hi.
This though, man, old Ron Chevry, the king over here. I was so glad he did
You
this
must be
for
here
us
for another chase
because I
scene.
feel like his character and
Well,
all of his
actually,
bits, like and the
well,
music that plays during it, like this is
before
what
I
makes the
begin,
whole thing feel like a holiday special
so
to me.
sit
Oh,
back.
for sure. For sure.
Why not?
And came in
Grab your
clutch.
favorite
And that was on the fly.
On
We didn't even originally have him
because
pinned in.
this
hmm
420
It's true.
just so
I knew I
And it
happens
wanted
was
Ron to do
and it was one
something.
of the
on Easter Sunday.
we had wanted him to do the storytelling type of thing beforehand. So
Right,
it was
right.
kind of
Yeah,
like another old idea and say, no, here, let's get him in the
yeah.
420 and
This one was your idea, and I'm glad that it worked. The like when it like zooms from like the universe to the Earth and all that stuff.
Earth 420. Here we are.
Or 420. Make it official.
Hell yeah, bro. I'm so stoked. Easter Sunday, man.
And 420. I'm almost dressed in the same gear right now.
You know that it's not often that happens.
I'm wearing the same tank top.
Hey, man, I wish we had like some sort
There you
of
go.
Yep.
zombie Jesus movie to go home and watch.
We're in character.
So sick.
Zombie Jesus movie reference to the original Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday movies, you know, like it's crazy.
Especially like an Easter Sunday 420.
The whole meta opening.
Plus,
Phil
it was
points
neat.
out that like from this moment onward, you just keep like upping the amount of weed that you're gonna buy.
Dude's house on the way back, right?
Because even right here, you're like
Right.
maybe like a quarter or a half.
That'd probably do us good. And tomorrow's 420, so why not?
Gotta be prepared.
We had said like, you know, the whole points when we get to the dealer, you know, he's kind of intimidating. He
Yeah.
scares me into buying double the amount I was gonna buy. It's like a hat, like an ounce.
Well, Philip Hazen in the role of a lifetime, in a dual role of a lifetime.
My favorite bit in this whole thing, though. He is what gets me cracked up every time.
He's the scene stealer this year, man. He took it home this year.
He really did.
Oh, Rob, it was great getting to work with Robin on this because you know he was one of my first friends right out of high school. Like he was like a big brother to me at that time, and so like he always talked about acting and shit when I originally was like making movies, and we never got the chance to do anything. So I was so glad we like reconnected and was able to do this. He was such a natural in our world of chasing Shep.
He really was. Really went right with it, man. Just right away was like, yeah, I got you. I'll do that.
This whole like the thing is, since he is my best friend, I know I'm watching Phil twice, but I am always so easily convinced on the Phil and Scott thing when I watch this. Like, there's no like, oh, it's just Phil twice. Like, I'm literally every time I watch this, I'm like, there's Phil and there's Scott. You know what I mean?
What do you want? But no, I love that's one of those things that you was talking about. Like, oh, we planned on having two different henchmen. Oh, we
Right.
couldn't find a second henchman. All right, Phil, getting two shirts. Now you're two different people. Which again is another callback to the original Easter
Yep.
Sunday, where I play two different people because again we didn't have another person to
just
play
need
it.
Jack.
Yeah, we just
That
like
part always cracks me up too, because that was just you fucking around. That wasn't even you doing the scene anymore. You were like, you got the stuff, but like he stayed in character, and it just made it that much funnier. Dragging
oh,
it
it
out
is.
like that.
That every time I've heard that, it reminds me of my friend from St. Louis, Eric Jones. That's how he used to always be like, "Hey, you got this stuff," and shit like that. So that's why I was doing that. It's great to be in there. It is natural.
Not really. It's kind of wigging me out. He's my best
I've
friend.
literally
So
said that to people
it's kind of
before. You got this stuff, and he
This is
just
always
over
so
there.
funny. Bell and I had a whole conversation about like the subtle personality differences between Phil and Scott that really like bring it home as the two different people that they are.
I feel that. I feel that. I'll comment on it later, but he has one of my favorite spots in this whole thing.
What's funny is that the whole plot of this version was written around the fact that there's a dude that gave us like a whole ton of fake money, like fake $100 bills, and we were like, we should incorporate that somehow, and that's how all this came to be.
Like a heist, some
Yeah,
sort of heist or something, and then yep, this is what was born.
yep, the old
There it is.
switcheroo,
There it is, man. Sets the whole thing in
the old
motion right
MacGuffin.
there.
This shit,
Not
this right here is why I ended up using copyright music. Was I thought that was too funny with the "Fly Like an Eagle" thing, and then I like the way it carries over into this right here.
yep.
Oh yeah, man. Let's do this. Let's do this thing.
Just prepared, ready to go.
For once, not that we haven't fake smoked and stuff before, but there's a lot of fake smoke and or fake weed in this one comparatively to our other stuff. So like a ton of the shit on the table, I'd say about 90% of that is parsley.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, holy fuck, man. Dude, there's like a ton of it in here, man.
Yeah, this dude is like, I get so much fake money, I just burn it. It's like, you guys want this?
Oh,
We're like, hell
shit.
yeah, we make
That's
movies. Yeah, we'll
fucking
take it.
crazy, man. Dude,
It's
not
convincing.
gonna lie, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know the city had this kind of budget.
Bro, it's fucking insane.
That was a joke that did not end up becoming as big as it was intended.
It looks like
Like in the
Yeah, I think
original
only
draft,
I think
we
only
said it all the time, and now I think it gets brought up twice.
yeah, you say that, Dave says that.
And then Rob sort of says something similar at the end too.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
the city had that sort of money?
Yeah. But in the original draft of this, like so many people said it, like that was like the ongoing joke was this whole like, hey, does what? I didn't know the city had this kind of budget.
Right.
This was I love that we always talked about filming more for this, and then we just never did. We just did this and said, ah, fuck it, good enough.
That is true. I thought about that, but it was like really close to when it was going to go out.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, obviously at this point we had enough.
Right, yeah. It's kind of how I felt about it. Like it was coming down to the end of. Plus, this was my third project in a row over the course of like 4 or 5 months of just editing, like back to back to back. So especially by the end of editing this, I was like, whatever, you know. I let a lot of shit slide through the cracks.
Da-na-na-na. I don't know. I like how it turned out. Like
Me too.
I don't really think we needed anything more to that, because then you cut right like that, cut to us smoking in there and doing our thing.
Yeah. Hiding all the eggs. That one was fun. Wasn't that also your idea to just like throw the fucking eggs everywhere?
Throw them and kick them and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was always being like, let's just toss them.
Just toss them. This one was that was fun. A lot of running. We did a hell of a lot of running in this one.
Yeah, a lot of walking around.
Also, this was sort of like a callback to our the ending of the re-up show when we're smoking the secret stash and with the green lights and slow mo, but just a different play on that because that's kind of what we talked about when we shot this. But yeah, there's all sorts of shit that I'm like, yeah, we can make this fancier. We can do this. We can do that. And at the end of the day, I was like, it's okay.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, I think it all works just fine. We didn't need to go any bigger.
I think it
Could have.
explains how the night went perfect. Hiding
Right.
eggs, smoking.
Yeah.
That leads us straight into Easter
Boom.
morning,
Easter morning,
April 20th.
April 20th. Again, speaking of collaboration, we didn't really have much planned for this character, like for who the character was, but Dave shows up in this get up with the ketchup and mustard stains. He's like, I got a medical boot on. I was like, oh shit, did you hurt yourself? Or is that just for the character? He's like, it's just for the character. He's like, it'd be a lot funnier if a guy with a boot got his ass kicked. I'm like, that's fair. And then this part, like I've never had a boot or anything on, so I didn't know this. And as I was watching it, Bell was like, he's leading with his bad foot,
Right,
and
right.
I can't unsee it now. So every time I watch him do this, it's just hysterical.
He really reminds me of the Trailer Park Boys character Bubbles when he's outside, like his manner is like the way he talks. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
God,
Oh,
whoa. And just and taking that in head, it's like you got this guy that looks like he's in a trailer park, but he's in the nicest
in
fucking
this nice
house.
house, like what does this guy do? Like clearly his foot is broken. Here in a second, you'll see the for sale sign in the yard, and Bell's like, that kind of adds another layer to it too, like why he needs this money and stuff.
That is
He's
true.
like, down on your luck, your foot's broken. Yeah, he said, for those of you familiar with Dave's work, there's a character he plays called Pat. They just did a Halloween special last October that we were in called Pat's Spooky Night, and he has a tendency to do the Pat voice whenever he plays characters, and so he went on like a hard course correct. Like he did not want to sound like Pat, so he went with this like raspy kind of thing.
I think it's perfect, man. It really,
worked great. Yeah.
he said, like this part right here, just it cracks me up with them.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Shuffling around.
$200.
Which is also what cracks me up. Like when there's so many like small details about this special. Like the more you think about it, the funnier shit kind of gets. Like the fact right here, this get your butts up. He's like, I'm rich, but like he found $300. Like, and then later he gets his ass kicked over 2,500. So it's like, okay, man.
Yeah, and it's like, $300 is cool, but I don't know if that's
I don't know if
I'm
you're
rich
rich,
cool.
but I love Phil's little look he gives back to.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's like oh fuck.
Oh shit.
Like, do I tell him? Do I not?
Hey, boss, there's a problem.
I love this scene. I love their back and forth. It feels so fucking funny in it.
What the fuck is this? Where's the fucking money, Phil?
I don't know.
I had that bag of candy after we filmed this day, and when the kids watched it, they go, "That's where the bag came from." Yeah.
Shouts out Cassie for letting us use her house for this.
For sure, for sure.
That part always makes Phil and I laugh. For anybody else who picks up on that, when he's like, I hired you because you talk, and he doesn't say a fucking word. And then it cuts to Phil, and he doesn't say a fucking thing. He just defiantly stares at him, and it's just so funny to us that he just fucking stares at him. All right, damn.
Yeah, the all right, damn really is what ties it all together.
That was I almost didn't think it would make the scene. I didn't know if we'd be able to work that in. I'm glad we did. Another little reference with your little foot kick there, especially requested by Bell when you jump up.
Yeah, call back to the last 420, or no, the one
Re-up
before
show,
that.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 420s.
This was also your idea you pitched about recreating the original Easter Sunday scene.
In a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to me,
It was
really,
a perfect 420 spin on it.
it's a good 420 spin, and like it ties in the whole theme we've always went at, that like, oh, there's all these Earths.
Right. The
So it's
multiverse
like,
aspect.
this shows you that like the same stuff kind of happens on
Well,
every,
because I was going to say later on when we see the footage of the original Easter Sunday, it kind of implies that it's happening at the same time.
right,
You know,
right, yeah.
so that this 420 is coinciding with that Easter Sunday, which
And
is kind of
it's
fun.
and like I said, and it's like, well, so shenanigans happen on all these Earths, but now you're getting to see how different they are. Like,
Right,
oh, right there, you have the same noise as when I found you in the other
right.
Easter
Same
Sunday.
music. Yeah,
But it's like that one you're dead. This one you're just sugar combed.
right. I I think this joke goes on the longest out of all the jokes, but I love it more for that.
Oh, I do too.
Like when I
No,
look at the donut and there's that like "Dang," right there, like that wasn't planned at all. That just happened, and I was like, that's perfect. But that right there, I feel like really just like sells the length of that joke. Is when you finally are like, oh,
What the hell was that, man? Oh, this?
and then this part, man, just gets me.
you know what's actually funny though is like because you came in, you pitched this idea as well on top of that last one, and you were like, but you don't have to eat a bunch of donuts. You can just eat the one donut, and we'll get a bunch of like takes and angles. It's like okay, cool, but I didn't think anybody was gonna think I was actually eating a bunch of donuts. I guess I don't know why. The one question I always get after people watch this is, how many donuts did you have to eat to do that?
You see,
I was like, oh, one.
just the one, and then you see me here quickly in the background.
Oh.
Oh. And just so if you're watching this and don't get it, we're implying that in the middle of the story he went back to, wasn't planned that way, but that's
Right.
kind of color graded. You can go with that.
Yeah. Which I guess that was another little reference. I watched Friday for the first time while I was editing this, and anytime they tell a story in that, they always like flash back to like black and white, and so that's why I made that scene black and white.
How's it going?
Ew.
Yo, dude.
Yeah, I like the little music in the background.
The jazz added a lot. The
Yeah.
jazz helped me find the voice of this special.
Well, where is it? I don't know. It's just the prizes that were
What?
supposed to be in that golden egg. The prizes from the. Well, what the hell? Are we
This bit always
seeing
cracks
it?
Phil up.
Wait, I thought you had it.
I thought you had it. Then when you're like, why would I have all this shit if I had the golden egg?
I don't have it. I don't know where it is. Fuck, bud. Oh shit. You know what?
Poor kitty.
We need to find
Yeah.
out. Yes, we do. Let's go.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah, that was what we talked about when you watched the last like rough draft as I was
Yeah.
finalizing things. That was one of the sound effects we talked about, and I was like, totally worth it. Totally worth it. Like this line coming up, the crack of noon is a little reference to Tenacious D.
This is not good, man.
Fucking earlier with Ooh Wee starting like with the opening credits and stuff, that was like a little nod to Harold and Kumar. So there's like a lot of not just references to our own stuff, but little stoner references throughout.
We gotta find somebody to help us with this, man.
I think I might know a person.
Yeah?
Yeah. Where? He's this way. He's this way.
All right. Smoking or choking too. The Redux. Story behind this one is that Belle pitched Smoking or Choking to us during the re-up show. And her pitch was about this guy who it's like, hey, are you smoking or are you choking? As if that person was hesitating.
Right.
But we took that and ran in a different direction. For anybody who's seen it, obviously we Phil's in this coughing fit. We just keep, are you choking or are you smoking? So she wanted to try again, closer to her original idea. I feel like we still didn't quite get what she was envisioning, but I thought this turned out hilarious too. I think we can keep retrying this because we've gotten two good bits out of it so far. So
It's true. It just reminds me of people like, not so much older, but like when you was younger and you'd be smoking,
Mhm.
there's people that be like that. That
Yeah.
they're oh yeah, dude. If anybody had some right now, I'd smoke it down, bro. You know I
Yeah.
would. And then somebody be like, all right, I got some. Let's light up. Oh, bro, but like I don't know, man. I gotta leave and like and shit like
Right.
that. And it's like, come on, dude. Either
My
smoke or
this
don't.
always reminds me a little bit of myself.
Yeah,
Because it reminds me of, like, because we kept telling Randy, "You're not stoned," but he kept playing it stoned, so we were like, "Fuck it, whatever, you're stoned." But, like, then that's what made me start thinking about, like, myself, because 'cause I've been in those positions where, like, you're already smoking with people, and then you're just so blitzed that, like, they're trying to pass it to you. You're like, "Oh, no, no, dude."
true,
No, it's like, "No,
true.
I smoke. I smoke, I do," but, it's like, I can't keep smoking. And I feel like that's kind of like Randy's position here too. And then Gela improvised that there at the end where she, like,
I
smacks
love
his
it.
goodbye.
Yeah,
So funny.
no.
Gela, I
When
think Gela has some of the best bits in this one because her little, like, "That was mean." that she says to Belle. The scene, the windiest day that we could have possibly filmed in, like, a open field.
you can tell by the hair, bro.
That and the sound quality of this Frankenstein's monster of a scene.
I think it turned out pretty good though, man.
It
To
turned
tell
out
you the
okay.
truth.
Yeah. Yeah, compared to, like, how bad it originally was, like, with the audio and stuff, like, yeah, I made it serviceable.
And well, there's one specific egg we're looking
Oh,
for.
It's
Rodney
like now you
Snyder.
guys can hear what we're
Yes. This is our first time working with Rodney on our turf, I suppose. We met
yeah.
Rodney when we were in Final Days, Tales from the End Times. Um, we shared
Anytime
a
we were
scene.
around him, it was pretty much fucking chaos in that. So
Yeah, yeah, not a lot of talking
not a
happened
lot
that
of
day.
talking.
He was busy, but
We was trying. We was trying. We was chilling, like, hey, come
but
smoke.
since then, like, I think he's followed our page, and like, we've run into him at, like, some of the screenings
Oh,
of Eft and stuff like that. So, we've met him here and there, and yeah, it came time to do this. And I, on the one hand, I feel bad because, like, he's under a mask the whole time. You, like, hardly ever get to see him. Um, and but I don't know. Somebody had to don the rabbit costume this year.
no, and he's great, man.
He
Honestly,
did he
great
did a
time
great
hanging
job.
out with him, doing all
Yeah,
this, and
I love anybody who's
talented,
down to come play.
talented motherfucker, dude. That's all I gotta say. Very talented. Getting to see him do the more serious type of stuff in Final Days, and then
Right.
come here and do whatever silly shit we could ask him to do, man.
Yeah.
Great guy. Great guy.
And there was another little reference to that one was the last to get too high, as you were talking about, like, training squirrels to get our
Yep.
shit for us.
Yep. Yep. Definitely.
Now the
More on
biggest
the nose.
Easter egg in this scene is it might seem like a goof to some people, but as we're explaining our situation to the bunny, for those eagle-eyed viewers, you'll notice that the golden egg we're looking for is actually right behind us, right behind that TV over there, just poking out. Very
Some
intentional.
something that yeah, when we went to film the scene, we look back and we're like, hey, we should probably move that, get it out of the way. But I feel like we really didn't know how we would where the golden egg would be if we were gonna find it, or see it. And then when it was
Right.
like that, it's like, no, actually,
It
that's
just made for a
fucking
funnier
perfect.
joke. It just made for
Well,
a
and how
far
many
more
times have we
hilarious
all
reveal.
done that though? You know what I'm saying? Have we all been looking for something, searching all over the
Right.
place,
It's right
and
there.
it ends up being right in front of your face?
I love how this scene turned out as a whole too.
Because if you're good at like you said, eagle eyes, you could also see the positions me and Chase would have been standing in earlier
Right.
before
We
we
would have been talking over the egg.
right beside the egg,
Yeah.
and it just adds more funniness to it to me.
Song in the background is a shout out to Shaun of the Dead. And then this, Phil was like, "You got to use the slowed down Peter Cottontail again that we used
Right.
in Summer Camp episode 7." which turned out hilarious.
Oh, it's perfect. It's like I wonder where his brain's at right
Oh,
now.
he's gone. Because I know in our original draft we talked about maybe doing like a whole skit about like the Easter Bunny's like trip that he goes on, and ultimately we didn't end up getting around to that. Maybe a story for another time. Who knows?
Maybe. I just noticed a little pink tail on that bunny costume. Never noticed it before.
We coming up here in a second is the footage from the original Easter Sunday, which I was telling Belle has now officially like that was the first short that started all the Chase and Shep stuff, and it's just become an exercise in like how many times we can reuse the same footage in different
True.
things.
It's almost it has it been in everything?
No, it hasn't been in everything, but we've
Well, be-
we've definitely reused it at least twice. Once here, and then once in summer camp.
But you would have seen it in the last 420 when we was like zooting back. Zzz.
Oh yeah. That's true. That's true.
Lost my place.
So this is the third time
This
we've
was,
seen
I
it.
think, Dave pitched that idea of him coughing and losing his place in the middle of that.
No, I like it because it's kind of like, you know, you're getting to see it, but he's like narrating it to you.
Right.
So.
Oh man, dude, we better be able to find this golden egg before too long, bro.
And this is a pretty damn good scene. I really like
Oh
this
yeah,
one.
Phil cracked me up in this. This was fun to film that day too. God damn it! Then again, music from the OG Easter Sunday.
Another throwback. We had the bunny chased me out of the apartments. Now Phil's chasing us around, and Scott's coming up from the
there's Scott.
corner. Juke 'em.
I don't think I think if you listen very carefully, you can hear Phil like because we start to slow down and then we look behind him. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you! I'm gonna get you!" And then we start running again. Yeah, low key, there were a lot of really good shots in this one too. I liked this shot. We had the shot earlier when we go like back to back, like right after we leave the house and stuff.
He's like, fuck.
And here it is, the big show. Fight coordinator Aaron Shepard. That's the. I forgot to put that in the credits.
Going on an egg hunt. Just pouring fucking down rain.
Pouring down rain. This man's gone through a lot. This was one of those scenes that was really hard to edit because like they did give me so much to work with, and it was all so funny.
Oh, it is. My favorite is when Tyler whaps him. You can clearly hear him fucking start laughing his ass off. And I love it because I love to think, knowing him, I love to think
that he would.
that he
Yeah.
would. He'd find that funny.
That's actually why I was going to try to scrub it out, and then I was like, actually, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like.
But like right here, there was an alternate take where he says $25,000 instead of 2,500, and it's like, yeah, I understand getting your ass kicked for $25,000, but 2,500, and Tyler's just like, I'm gonna whop the shit out of you. Hey, that's a score. Come on up here. And I love that this did end up like Tyler had a bigger role, but because of this, that, the other, this was it, and it really did become like a special guest cameo moment, like just long enough for him to show up and beat the shit out of Dave.
And then get his little props at the end. Again, became mayor.
Yeah, became mayor. Yeah, so they ain't all bad.
See that car driving by? They like what they see.
Yeah.
They said, put it to the polls.
This one really, especially once I did the sound effects on it, I was like, this is great.
Oh yeah.
And of all the times, like the most like traffic.
I love it. I love it.
First Jason Shep's first fart joke ever.
They said something about, I was asked like, You really hit him with that? And I'm like, well, it's a fake bat. And he's like, yeah, I bet that hurt. And it's like, oh, he said it did.
It did. It did.
props to Kurt Angle. Perfect ankle lock there.
Dave, this was so much fun. This was the last thing we shot for this,
Yeah.
and what a great thing to end on. We were all laughing, having a good time.
And he's still going for a
Still
fucking
going
Mig.
for it.
Still going for it.
Also, $2,500 implies that he's only found 20 some odd eggs in the time since we saw him last.
It's been a long day for him.
It's been a long day for him. This cracks me up too. The fact that it's literally just the same spot we started from.
This is my favorite part with Phil here. The way, like, when he's like, What do you mean?"
Say something.
Yeah.
Why don't you say something?
Such a Phil-ism.
Yeah, no, that's I love it. It's great.
Yeah, don't let the guy fool you. I got some feels, but I'm like you guys.
Yeah, dude. I told you if editing those fart noises into the fight scene was the hardest I've ever laughed by myself in my entire life. I could not get my shit together. It was
I
so
don't doubt
funny,
it, man.
I'm in here. My girlfriend and kid are in the other room, and I'm in here with the door closed, just like tears streaming down my face. Like I'm trying to catch my breath. Like I'm laughing so damn hard, rearranging them and trying to find different. Oh man, it was so much fun.
It really sounds like he shit his pants. So
I think he might have. I like to think that he did.
So what do you
This
think
one was
of
fun.
this,
This was almost a deleted scene.
yeah,
Our first
yeah,
deleted scene. This one almost didn't make the cut.
yeah. Because we had filmed this beforehand, and then we was like, how are we gonna work it in? And then I
Right.
figured,
I mean, we spent
Yep.
oh,
all day together.
Yep. We
and the
figured.
best part is like I said, Scott's not gonna be there, right? Good, I fucking hate him. And then you find out we're just hanging out with Scott anyway.
Big old twist.
It's weird. Like why? Why can't you just say something?
Which this makes it make sense that like Scott would know that that's how people feel about him because Phil's laying it all out there for him. Like people don't like that man. It's creepy. It's
And you know what?
dude. Phil's so good in this. It's just so fucking funny.
You look like me. You know what? I'm starting to get it. You know what I'm saying? Because
And this is what I'm talking about. Like it's obviously Phil, but like it feels like I'm watching Phil and Scott.
that's kind of it's a little weird. You know?
He just goes back. He just goes back to watching TV.
You do have some qualities.
Phil recommended cutting back to him still not looking at him when he's like, "You are a good listener, though." He's just not even paying attention. Then he goes right back to being on his phone.
And just like the turn of events that made everything work, filming this part beforehand, talking about, oh man, that's a crazy thunderstorm. And then when we
Yep.
go to film the end, it being a downpour, being like, and everybody's like, you sure we're filming today? Yeah, it's fine.
Oh yeah, we planned for the rain. We were on a tight schedule, so we're like, we can't do reshoots. Hilarious.
Yeah, I still love that we wait until the full shirts
Yeah.
off, hats back on, and then we're like, oh, as if
One
we
of the-
wouldn't have noticed something's up when we walked up and they're both in
Right.
black shirts.
One of the silliest jokes in the whole thing.
Did you have other money?
And Rob just riffing away on this too. That was his thing. Is like he gave me so much shit to work with. He would just
yeah.
he would just run with whatever you gave him.
Well, and I love it because it's like you never you didn't keep it in, I don't think, but then it's like he did say something when he was ranting one of the times about the Bears, and then when we're walking away, I'm like, why you got to talk about the
He
Chicago
briefly mentions it like after he tries to shoot us. He's like, the Bears were horrible this year, but it
He
wasn't
does?
as it wasn't as extended as it originally was because he goes on a tirade. And Phil's like, yeah, well, they're always horrible.
Fading back.
Another Shep pitch here was the gender reveal skit.
I thought it turned out pretty good though.
I think it did too. I think it worked pretty good. Shouts out to Sheppy's grandpa for letting us use his pad to
Yep.
film.
He said, "Yeah, I don't know why y'all want to use my backyard, but go for it." So thanks, Gramps.
Yep, we just needed a backyard, my man.
Just wanted it different. That's what I told him. I was like, we just want it to look different,
Yeah,
and we had that little gun. So
the reference to Big Buck Johnson, a skit that is out there.
it is out there,
It's in the 420 Hangover. If you go back and watch that,
but
Big
it's
Buck Johnson, the car salesman.
and now gender reveal salesman apparently.
Yeah, gender revolver. That was something that the day that we filmed this, Phil and I came back. We were watching all the footage and like we again just crying, laughing at you. I'm gun safe. I'm gun safe. Like, and how many times you said that? Like, my God. But then I think it's even funnier that after you shoot me, you're like, I thought I was being safe. I thought I was being
Right.
safe. But like, look at you. You're fucking looking down the barrel of the gun, flinging it around and shit.
Like I said, doing this little skit here reminds me of like like how like Harold and Kumar made fun of like the weed commercials and stuff.
Right, right.
It's kind of the same. Like it's like one of those like this is don't do drugs, kids. And then like that, like them all being dressed the same as their skit, like
It's kind
implying
of implied, yeah.
maybe it was that day and that's where they were going, and
Right.
they all just showed up right there.
Right.
And
They were all in the car smoking.
I like Randy's lines in this too. I think he had some
Randy's
really
got
good
good lines in this. Everybody has funny ones in this. Bells when she's talking to you and is like, "That sounds
Yeah.
made up as fuck." That one gets me. And Phil, he's got a few good ones too.
Oh yeah, when it just like there's one
who
shot
says things like that? Big Buck Johnson.
that one that is exactly right. Yeah, being in the background, be like Big Buck Johnson. The Randy's like, who the fuck sells a Jenner revolver?
This was fun. This was a fun one to edit. It took me a while to like do this scene, but layering the chaos was a lot of fun.
There
Big
it is.
Buck Johnson.
Well, I don't know.
Bought it at the small bar. Yeah, this whole thing was just so much fun. We are.
I like that. I like that when any bad shit happens to you, I just know, bro, know it.
Right, right.
No, bro.
Yeah, I threw out my little Scream reference here too, and I was like, I'm feeling woozy here.
Oh, the perfect.
Honestly,
shot.
when this, I feel like this turned out, I laughed just as hard at the finished product of this as I did when you pitched me the idea. Like that's what made. I was immediately like, "We're gonna do this." As soon as you pitched it to me, you're like, "It's a gender reveal party." I'm like, okay, whatever." But this is what happens. I was like, "Oh, that's actually hysterical."
It's like it's a boy, and then the slow mo.
Slow mo, give me that. Another departure in the story here.
True.
That one was also Phil said that he's like, no more killing today, and we're like, nobody's been killed in this short, so that's why we threw that line in there. Like, who did he kill?
I feel like you might have already done it, but I think the next time you see us, there's an ambulance that's driving behind us.
Yeah. Because we're
And
like, what the fuck is going on? Because he just turns so fast. Like,
yep, there it goes.
There it goes.
And it is kind of funny that he's like, no more killing today, and then there's an ambulance going by behind us. Like,
yeah, this was another departure from how the story was going to play out because Tyler was going to save the day.
Yep.
And things got rearranged, and so we're like, you know what? We're still going to film. Phil, this is what's going on. That's kind of every time something went wrong, we just turned to Phil. We just threw it back on him.
it's kind of like, Rob fucking just decided, no, you know what? We're not going to hurt him. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I like to think that he was like so taken back by Phil's bravery in that moment of standing up to him that he's like, all right, fuck it, yeah, we don't have to slap the hose, man. That whole thing too. They just like riffed all of this stuff and like it's hilarious because then I wrote the script for Ron and sent it to him. I'm like, I bet this sounds crazy without knowing
Right.
the context of the rest of the short. And honestly, the way this ends is like so holiday special to me when like the jazz music kicks in and like we all walk off together. And then again, you can see the like emergency vehicles in the back.
Right. Yeah.
Scott. Scott was originally going to take over Benjamin's empire.
But we decided, you know what? Come on, Scott.
But
You're
then, like,
coming in.
right, boom, right there, that cut to Ron and him looking up from the book and smiling. It's kind of like what you said earlier about like it really feels like he's reading this story.
Yeah.
And like that's my favorite. Like this whole segment with Ron is my favorite bit in the whole special. Like him breaking all this shit down is so funny.
Benjamin finally won those playoffs and turned over a
Finally.
new leaf,
Finally.
putting that PhD in chemical engineering to real good
It's
use.
just like, by the way, he's got a PhD in chemical engineering.
Inspired by Benjamin's pitch, got into the pimping game. Staying true to his word,
Then Phil getting into the
revolutionizing
pimping game, revolutionizing the business. It's beautiful.
positive
It's
environment
beautiful.
for sex workers. And after many comments about their appearances, he and Scott finally got a blood test. And it turns out they are brothers.
Yeah. That was like the one joke we knew was going to be there.
Right. Yeah.
Plus, that's the most Canadian sounding line that Ron delivers, I think, in that whole bit. I love it.
I just love how happy he looks when he says it. You know, it's
Mhm.
just perfect. He
Oh,
delivered
yeah. His
every
facial expressions are
perfect.
perfect.
Not everyone had a happy ending.
I love the way he delivers the Dave thing.
Was found dead a couple weeks later. He had a second boot put on after that fight with Tyler. Couple rough
Couple of
nights,
nights,
slipped down the
slipped
stairs,
and fell.
fell.
That's just it. And then he just flips a switch for Tyler.
Tyler,
But hey,
there. Yeah.
uh,
Just have to wait and see.
hilarious. Thanks again, Ron. This was
Much
such
love,
a
dude.
pleasure.
Yes.
Plus, I told Ron, I said you're keeping up with a theme I've had going since my first short film. Because if you look in the background, there's a Stephen King book pretty prominently on that bookshelf. I think I've snuck a Stephen King book into literally everything I've ever made. So,
I know. I know we did a few times with the Book of the Dead.
right,
So
there's one very active participating Stephen King book. I think this turned out all right too. We always talked about like the golden shine
yeah.
at the
No, I
end.
do. So I hope
Hey,
they pick
fellas.
somebody different. Hey,
Looking
fellas.
for this? Oh, okay.
Johnny Cash coming in with another great song to close out 420.
I like the little bits here at the end.
Mhm.
That was they're funny. I think they're pretty damn funny.
The layering that second cough over Rodney's cough. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it was also a callback to maybe I think that was the first one, the first sketch show when we were
Yeah.
doing like the coughing skits.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's one coughing fit every 420, and the Easter Bunny got it this year. Rodney got the coveted spot.
I'm just like what the fuck,
What
man?
the fuck, man? Yeah. And then, oh Jesus, he played a small role this year.
Yeah, he did. He's still there though. It is his day.
Little Passover.
Little Passover. Little Passover the bunny.
Also, I don't know if you noticed the poster on the back of the door for Night of the Living Dead. The tagline is "They won't stay dead," as Jesus like comes in through the door.
Hey.
That line it cracks me up every time I've watched this. Like the first time I edited this together, and you're like, "Hey, don't take my fucking name in vain." I was like, "That's so funny."
The day I rose? No.
The day I
When they
rose?
killed, when you guys killed me. And 3 days later, I came back.
Hallelujah.
All on 420 this year, and
Hallelujah.
you didn't call me up.
Rodney was a trooper, dude. It's like, "Hey, man, do you just want to come
What I got for you guys?
watch us get baked and improv for a few hours?"
Pretty
You guys
much.
wanna smoke
Yeah.
or what? Get in here.
Yeah. Oh,
Shep and
Scott Hazen. He was a lot of fun to work with.
Scott
Doesn't,
Hazen was
doesn't
pretty cool.
he's a talker is the thing. People you wouldn't guess it from his character, but
Second those cameras were off,
you
couldn't get him to shut
to
up. Never crummy.
Camera operators, the whole cast,
Everybody.
pretty much.
It'd be pretty short if we just like put everybody's what they did.
Yeah, and then just the one name. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Doesn't work well for the music.
Yeah, we got to spread it out. We got to spread it out.
Right.
Special thanks to everybody. Appreciate all y'all.
Special thanks and an apology to Jackie and Dana for putting that V on the end of your name. I was trying to change the controls settings, and that's my bad.
Let's pretend it's not there.
We'll tag.
This is interesting. Take that with me. Old friend. I'll see you in 2087, buddy.
See you in 2087, buddy. Hell yeah.
He looks very enthused about that.
Yeah. Like he's finally coming down from whatever he's been on for so long.
The only thing I had thought is like, oh man, what a way you should have put the little teaser after their 2-7 said Easter Sunday 3, 2087.
Yep. I was going to, but again, one of those like I was at the end of my
Oh no, I feel that.
shit. I was like, I can't do anymore. I was like, I think they'll get it with this. But yeah.
If there is gonna be one, we'll not be around to see it, but
Yeah,
we'll make it.
Yeah. we won't be here for it, but yeah, we have been talking about 42087. My see what I'm curious about is how many 420s will we make before then? You know what I mean? Like who knows? We don't have any others planned other than the one for 2087 right now, but that one's gonna be baller.
Oh,
I'll tell you that. So you might want to start eating healthy, exercise, brush your teeth, do all that shit. Make sure you're around.
look into
2087.
the medicines of the future.
Freeze yourself if you have to.
Yeah, or that.
2087. That's going down.
Say cryogenically freeze myself, wake me up on 4/20/2087 so I can watch the new Chase and Shep Easter Sunday.
I die at the end.
It is kind of fucking crazy though. It is fucking crazy when you think there's been a lot of 420 Easters.
I guess the last one was in 2014.
Was it?
Yeah, I read a whole article on it because that was like the one article that kept coming up was like how rarely they happen. I guess.
I got well,
Yeah.
fuck me then.
So 2014, I was like, okay. But then what I thought was interesting is like from 2014 to 2025 is an 11-year gap, and then you go 62 years until the next one. Like, I don't know. Seems erratic. Seems like stoner behavior.
Yeah, it does. I don't know, but
Yeah.
maybe something will pop out. You know, we might not ever know though.
Yeah, we won't be here for it. So,
I'll be
hey, Easter Sunday 420. There you have it. It's finally
there you have
out.
it, guys. Appreciate you guys for watching it, listening to us ramble and jamble about it.
Yeah, and jamming with us all week as we've just
Jamming all
been
week.
dropping stuff. I'm sure
I
by
know.
now the bloopers are out as of this recording. So, going. have those laughs, man. Keep it going.
Have the laughs, watch the stuff, get you some 3D glasses, like we said. Watch the 3D ones; they're pretty fun. They're pretty fun in
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah.
I only watch them on my phone though. I've been waiting to watch it on the TV.
Yeah,
They
you got to
really
do
get
it. You got to go the
into
whole
it.
nine. You got to get everything dark and
Yep.
all that jazz. Yeah,
Full experience. Full
yeah.
experience.
So that you can watch a half-ass 3D. There's a word for that. It's been converted to 3D. It wasn't shot in 3D. It's a 3D conversion. So enjoy. Now in glorious anaglyph 3D. Go enjoy.
It's still bitching.
Oh hell yeah!
Because somebody watched it. Somebody's telling me today at work that they watched it. I think Ryan at work said he watched it, and I was like, "You got 3D glasses?" He goes, "It was in 3D," and I was like, "Yeah." I was like, and he's like, "That makes sense." I'm like, "Yeah,
Makes
yeah."
sense.
He was probably like, "Damn, these guys fucking suck. What
God,
are
this
they
looks
doing?"
like shit. Yeah. Well,
Appreciate it though. Still, hey,
yeah, appreciate the watch. Yeah, yeah. But all righty. Well, that'll do it. Thanks everybody. Till next time.
smooches and deuces.
Peace.